for 40 minutes. But the news on Mike Leach is very grave. Family and everyone possible in Jackson, Mississippi, after the story yesterday, he was air flighted from his home to where he is right now.
Yeah, Coach Leach suffered a massive heart attack, according to reports, and the specifics on that are not completely out yet. And I just know, specifically having been through this exact thing with my father, how even though I read John Canzano early had a column saying that he had been having some of these problems, I went through the same thing with my dad. When you have it, you know that, like, it's ominous and out there, but it's, as long as they're here with you, it just still hits you like a ton of bricks. And I know exactly what his family is going through right now. The college football world, is lucky to have Mike Leach. He is so different and so unique. And I just remember, as a young person in this business, him granting me an interview. Zach Burke helped me set it up. And calling him on the phone, he said, "Let me pull over my car." And we talked for 40 minutes, and he was so nice. And I even said, "Look, this is kind of my first big interview." And he's like, "Why'd you pick me?" Like all those things. And he was just so funny and good. And I met him a couple times at Media Day kind of things. And I always thought he was just a genuine person. And I really, hope for the best for him and his family.
There's a lot of stories like that are coming out as people reflect on, how he touched their life in some way. I don't have one of those. I just know that I've enjoyed watching the guy coach for, a couple decades now at this point. I think he's a pillar of the uniqueness of college football. When you look at, like, the landscape of college football over the years and what makes it so crazy, zany, and unique, and sometimes too unique, but unique all the same. He's one of those guys that you would point to, and he's also one hell of a football mind. I mean, who is and how has he not affected today's game on any level, based with what he did, going all the way back to his assistant coaching days, and then, of course, the start of his head coaching career at Texas Tech. I mean, you look everywhere, and there's Mike Leach fingerprints all over all these offenses, over all these quarterbacks, over all these different ideas, and even over all these defenses, because they had to learn how to counteract it in some ways. And then everybody took their piece of it, and they, changed it and shaped it and, branched off. And there's all these branches now off of, a lot of his ideas. And, that stems from, going back to the Hal Mummies and those, I mean, he's a part of college football history, man, a huge branch of it, and has his own tree in that forest, quite frankly. And so just from that standpoint, I mean, the man's a legend, but as a personality the same way. Certainly, it's just a sad day for everybody, I think. It's hard to kind of wrap your arms around how sudden that was, but that's kind of how these things typically happen. It's interesting you mentioned that. Paul Canzano said that he had been having issues. I got word yesterday, too, that he apparently had been dealing with some things, and he passed it off as like it was pneumonia, and was just dealing with it. And I don't think that his loved ones probably enjoyed that very much. And now, hopefully they get a chance to scold him and tell him what an idiot he was being, because he's good now, and because, now he needs to take care of himself. But that is interesting. I didn't see that from Canzano, but I did get word yesterday as well that, he had been struggling with something for a while now. And so, man, just if you're having problems, go see the doctor, or don't be stubborn, whatever the case may be. Hug your loved ones. Everybody's got those messages today going around. The only thing about that is I just hate that we have to wait for, something bad to happen seemingly to do that. I wish we could just remember to do that all the time anyways. But yeah, I mean, everybody's praying for Mike Leach, thinking about Mike Leach, and hope he pulls out of this and ends up being okay in the end.
It doesn't look good at all. And one of the most touching pictures that I saw today was the huge scoreboard screen at AT&T Jones Stadium in Lubbock, which that the parting between Mike Leach and Texas Tech was not good. And there's been firing back and forth from that time when he walked out the door. And on their big, huge screen is a picture of Mike Leach, "Swing Your Sword." And that is, as Brian Haydad said, even in the interview we'll have in about 30 minutes, was something that even in this time, you just got to drop things. You got to let things go. And of course, Texas Tech and Mike Leach did not have a great finish. Again, in that fact, they played against each other back in the bowl game a year ago. So I don't know. There's a lot of people who've been touched by him. You think about Graham Harrell and Cliff Kingsbury, and you think about a lot of different people. Those who have, Craig, I was thinking about a good friend of yours, Lance Lusk, who played at Texas Tech, and he was there during the Mike Leach era, and a lot of players. And Lance was an offensive lineman who played at the same school as where Craig went to school. So it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. I saw someone that said if you pray, it's a good time to do so for Mike Leach, and if you don't, would you make an exception for this time for Mike Leach? So a lot of you have asked any updates on him, nothing more than what we have basically passed your way. Here's a statement from Mississippi State, and you're right, Dave Aranda was a graduate assistant at Texas Tech under Mike Leach. Mississippi State head coach remains in critical condition at University of Mississippi Medical Center in Jackson. Mike's family is with him, appreciates the overwhelming expressions of love and support for the coach, but also requests their family's privacy be respected at this time. That is the extent of information that MSU has available regarding Coach Leach's condition, and the university will make no other comment at this time. We'll issue additional information via social media when it becomes available. So not good news at all in any way, shape, or form, other than the fact you've seen the fraternity of college football and really everybody kind of come together. So that's the Mike Leach story, and do wish him the very best right now, and it gets grave.